The way that I see it when it comes to relationships is being alone is in the middle. It's mediocre. To find a partner in life that you can have a healthy relationship with is heaven on earth. To be in a toxic relationship is hell on earth. So if you find yourself getting into toxic relationships, one of the ways you can free yourself from that is to be alone, to accept the idea that you may just be alone in life and to adapt to that. And then, make the best out of it, work on yourself. Because the more you work on yourself, the more you improve the quality of your life. And when you do this, you're not going to be in a toxic relationship because you don't want things to be worse, And you're going to hopefully one day find someone that you can be in a healthy relationship with, which is heaven on earth. Now, with this being said, one of the dynamics that I notice some people getting into is a runner-chaser dynamic. And sometimes it may be intentional. Some people may have it in their mind that, for example, they may have 2 or 3 women that they'll just go back and forth with, in the case that it is a man that's doing this. So an example of this is a man that is afraid of commitment and doesn't want to build a life with one woman. He will hang out with a woman, smooth talk her, love bomb her. But when it comes to actually showing up for her and building and committing and having something real, he's not going to fulfill that. And sometimes what they will do is they will create something to create an argument. And then when that argument happens, they will leave her and run to the other one and do that same exact cycle again. Love bomb her. Create an illusion in her mind of what things could be like. And then again, when she wants him to uphold that, to fulfill it, to commit, to build together, to be considerate, to be loving, to be compassionate and understanding and respectful and commit and build a life together, he will do something to create an argument to then find a way to separate from her and then run to the next. And sometimes these men will have, a few of the same females that they do this with, and they just keep doing it as long as the women allow it. Now, there are many reasons as to why this happens, but one of them is either one or both of the people, one, both, or all, okay, just depending on how many. But let's just say that this is a couple, right? Let's just talk about 2. One or both, if they get stuck into a cycle like this, more than likely, they were victims of child abuse and neglect. Now, when I talk about abusers, I am just using the English language to express an idea, to express a thought, a concept. I do not think down on abusers. I get angry at them. I vent, I go off. But ultimately, I know that abusers are victims of abuse. And, of course you have to use your discernment and just be cautious. But I do think that it's important that abusers are loved and helped. But at the same time, you just got to be real cautious and follow your discernment and do the best you can while also protecting yourself. But regarding the relationship in this runner-chaser dynamic and how it correlates to child abuse and child abuse and being neglected, it's because they are used to a feeling. They are used to the feeling of wanting something they can't have, wanting something that is not showing them love or attention. So that is a familiar feeling because they wanted their parents to love them. They wanted their parents' attention. But the parents, for whatever reason, they had their own issues and they were unable to show them love and attention, and they were neglected. So that feeling of wanting something they can't have is the reason why they get stuck in that cycle. And once they have something that does show them love and attention, that's an unfamiliar feeling. So it's uncomfortable. And this is something that I've heard from many times, is that people will choose a familiar feeling, even if it's toxic, over an unfamiliar feeling that's healthy. And so this goes back to breaking your comfort zone. You have to break out of your comfort zone in order to really change your life and your reality. And something that I've said many times, like when I'm trying to help somebody, the way that I changed is I faked it until I made it. And this is how you rewire your brain. And, some people don't like that saying, but again, we get really caught up on words, and instead of looking at like what the message is. So some people will say like, you just have to realign yourself, or you have to just do the work to manifest a different reality. But those things, it's going to require you to fake it at some point. And I know some people say, no, you don't need to fake it. Look, the point is the point, the message, okay, the purpose, the concept, the idea, the thought that I'm trying to express here. Maybe you don't have to fake it. Whoever disagrees with that. I did. I had to fake it until I made it. I had to fake it. I had to fake a lot of things in order to rewire my brain, in order to manifest a different reality. In order to create a new reality, I had to be fake for a period of time, because the real me wasn't, the me that I was trying to be, So you can say it however you want to. You can say, you have to rewire your brain. You have to, change your reality by putting in the work to manifest something different, whatever. I say, fake it until you make it. That's what I say, because to me, that's what I did. And it worked. It did. To be real specific, I had so many bad things happen, and I got really tired of it. And so I looked at people who I thought were very lucky, and I observed them. I observed their behavior. I observed what they said, what they did, along with going to college for the science of psychology and applying what I learned, and then becoming a yoga instructor and applying what I learned there. So, but in that process, there was a period of time where I had to be someone that I wasn't in order to change who I am. Because I didn't like who I was. I still don't like who I was. I know people say like we have to accept our shadow self. There are parts of my shadow self that I like, such as, I know I have a temper, but I don't completely dislike that part of myself. I kind of like that, I'm feisty. I like that. But at the same time, I can go overboard, and then when I do, I will regret it, but there are a lot of parts of my shadow self that I do not like, and I never have liked, and today I feel a great deal of shame and guilt. So, and those are parts of my shadow self that I healed, I healed. Like my temper, my anger, I tame that. I still use it, but I tame it. other aspects of my shadow self I healed. They're not useful for me at all anymore. But, again, the way that I see things is that I have a dream, a goal in life. And I would rather put all my time and energy into that than to run in circles with someone in a toxic relationship. I have no interest in that whatsoever. So, the minute that you show me that that's what you're going to do, I'm going to disconnect and move on with my life because I've got dreams and goals I'm trying to achieve. And I've accepted and adapted to the idea of being alone. And I'm okay with it because I've got dreams and goals that I put my energy into, along with the fact that, there's self-care and I've got pets I take care of. And along the way, I'm sure I will start to build a community of friends and things of that nature. So, I'm living in that middle ground where I am alone. I wish I had a healthy partner to build a life with and share this life with, but I haven't found that yet. But what I will never go back to is a toxic relationship. I will never be a part of that because that's hell on earth. And I don't want to live in hell anymore.